Hey guys, it's me again. So I've been thinking about my situation and I feel like part of the reason why it's so hard for me is um like this isn't a recent thing. From the time when I was a kid, I was always excluded on the playground and stuff, and at that time my response was I just became a jerk. And eventually I got picked on so much to the extent that I just straight up had to. I got frustrated and I just straight up asked, "Why don't you guys like me?" And then, then they told me, and it hurt. You know, I realized I was just letting myself become a product of my environment, and yeah, I wanted to change after that, but it's never been easy for me. Any friends that I made over the years would eventually dissipate because of well, a lot of drama that just wasn't really necessary, but nobody really trusted each other. Everybody had their issues, and yeah, if it wasn't for the drama, it was just very unlucky circumstance, I guess. Like somebody I'd get along with just happens to move away within a few months of me meeting them, or um, well, there's a big one, but but honestly wouldn't be right for me to discuss it. Uh, But essentially, over the years, I've just been wanting to constantly improve myself, and part of the reason why it's so hard for me to not have friends is basically I'm an ambivert, and if you don't know what that is, it's a combination of being both introvert and extrovert. I was a big extrovert when I was young, and part of the reason why a lot of people didn't like me was because I talked too much. Which, when you look at it now, is eh, it's something you can improve, but I definitely don't feel like I deserved. I don't. I don't feel like I should have had to have suffered the way that I did just because of something like that. Um, and then eventually, after I got frustrated with all the drama with my friends, like this was in early high school, pretty much. Um, I isolated myself and just went full introvert. And I realized it was better to have no friends than the ones that were available. Um, so yeah, and the only person I really talked to, like really talked to, was my mother. Um, yeah, and then eventually, when I moved to the city, I started getting out more, and that's when my extrovert nature started to come out again, and now I'm a little bit of both. So the introverted part of me was more than satisfied with this isolation, but as a human being and as somebody who's being an extrovert, I cannot just be alone. You know, and when I meet people who I connect with, and they don't bother to actually call or reach out to me to see how I'm doing, or actually bother asking if I'd like to hang out sometime. Um, I do that for them. Um, when I have something exciting I'm going to, I will always invite my quote unquote friends. Um, I always reach out because I feel like I want to be an example of what I wish to see in the people around me. And I know that if I'm not even trying, then what is the, then what I, if I'm not even trying, then what is the fucking point? Um, but I continue to watch videos. I continue to develop myself because even though people who aren't as developed are living, I mean, they live in different, they experience different types of pain, different types of misery, and I get that mainly from the drama, which is completely unnecessary most of the time. Um, but at the end of the day, they have friends. Like most people out there, without even a cinch, they just get to have friends. They get to have people who are just there. Right? I don't care how good these people are. Like, the fact is, they're there. And you just have somebody to talk to. Right? And it really makes a big difference. Me, like, and like, for most of these people, they didn't have to improve themselves to be worthy of having friends. They didn't have to do they didn't have to train for years to be the most perfect, ideal individual in order to be capable of sustaining a relationship. They just get to have that. Right? Typically, it's because you just connect with somebody when you're really young, or you just happen to run into somebody one day and you really hit it off. But um, I'm also a free spirit, so I'm such a vastly different individual from everybody else that they love my energy, but they don't see me as equal. They don't see me as somebody they'd want to be friends with because they don't see common interest. Um, and it's hard for me because I need that. I need to have connections. Um, and I get it. Like a lot of you would probably tell me, don't be so codependent. Um, and that is a valid point. But at the same time, I can't just be letting myself be abused and treated this way, where um, maybe it's not abuse, but I'm being neglected, you know, undervalued, underappreciated, and essentially, I don't have better people who just walk into my life who can replace. And the thing is, the reason why I continue to try to improve myself is because um, I feel insecure about it. I feel because nobody ever treats me like I'm good enough, right? Like I said, if people considered me, essentially, I'm all just trying to become this most perfect individual that nobody can refuse to want to hang out with. And it's an annoying pressure to have to put on myself because just simply because people won't call me. Like, oh, it's Noah, let's give him a big hug and it's so good to see you. But you never frickin' call me. Right? You never invite me to anything. Like, am I a person, or am I just an attraction? Like, I'm not here to entertain people. I'm here to frickin' live. I want to be a part of something. Right? The reason why I'm constantly um, proving myself is because I don't feel validated by the people who are around me. I don't know if I'm good enough because people don't respond to that. People don't treat me like I'm good enough to be friends with them, right? I mean, the logical explanation is that people are intimidated by me, or people see me more as a big brother than they do a friend. And I understand that. But I'm still a human being and I need attention. You know, um I need to know that what I'm doing is good enough for people to want to be a part of my life, to want me to be a part of theirs. Um right? Like, and what's so annoying and traumatizing for me is I go wherever I go, I see people who get to have the very thing that I've been working so hard to be good enough to achieve, right? Like I said, people treat me like I'm not even there. Like I like the second I leave a room, people essentially treat me like I don't even exist. And I'm just fighting this uphill battle to become good enough, to become noticeable enough, notable enough to that people essentially can't ignore me, that they will actually want to bring me in and be close to me. Why is it so hard for me? Why do you, like, when you guys essentially, like, most people don't even have to put in an effort. Okay, there's a little bit of effort involved. Like being attentive and, like I said, actually checking in and, seeing how people are doing and just being available and just being there when people need you. Um, but why can't people do that for me? Right? Why won't they? I get it. I carry myself like I've got everything going. Like I've practically owned the place. I carry myself like I have absolutely no issues whatsoever. I don't exactly make it easy for people to see that I'm somebody who needs people. I go everywhere by myself and I dance. I speak with great charisma. I don't I don't falter in my interactions. But that doesn't mean you should treat me any different from anybody else. I do have issues, I just don't show you guys, right? I do need support, I do need love, I do need affection, right? I just don't display this need because I feel embarrassed, because I don't want to, um, I don't want people to think little of me. It's kind of like if a Buddhist monk were to walk in here right now. That is, I'm not going to compare myself to a Buddhist monk because I don't, I mean, I don't intend to compare myself to a Buddhist monk because I clearly, I don't consider myself that far evolved, at least not at this stage in my life. But the point is, like, if a Buddhist monk were to walk in the room, right, you wouldn't feel the need to support this person because they seem more than capable of supporting themselves. And me, I present myself that way. Um, But I see this as being a big fault in society, that we we don't try to embrace um, what is it? We fail to see the humanity in people the same way that we used to. Um, like, as humans, if you are incredibly evolved, that doesn't mean that you live a perfect life. In fact, it likely means the opposite. That it's that, right? In order to be further evolved, you have to have had a lot of trauma. You have to have had suffered to a certain extent in order to grow and learn through that. Right? If not for your trauma, you wouldn't be where you are today. You wouldn't be where you are now. And right, just because you're able to lift yourself up doesn't mean you don't need friends. In fact, if you are a person who is not at that point where you would consider yourself far evolved yet, but you meet an interesting person like myself who is able to carry and present themselves in that certain way where you don't think anything is wrong with them, maybe it would be a good idea to keep this person close, because you can actually learn a lot from their experiences. And that's one thing that's pained me so much in my life, is I know that, but for some reason people can't see the value in having me around as a person. Like, I'm a great person. Like, I know how to have fun. Right? I'm not dark and brooding. I'm not like all serious. Like I just wish that other people could see the value in having a more refined person around who can teach them these things. Right? So that they can also evolve. But I feel like until people are ready to face their own trauma, to face their own faults and their experiences, and actually grow and move on, they won't be ready to hang out with a person like me, because my role in their lives is essentially to expose this. And people don't like that. People don't feel comfortable with that, because it tears down this reality that they've created for themselves where, they're innocent. They are free of fault. Like, anything shitty going on in their life is not their fault. Right? Having me around tears that down and exposes the reality that, to a certain extent, we have a role in shaping our own reality, whether we like it or not, and we have to face that. Anyway, I think I've made my point. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and thank you so much for listening. You take care, and I'll talk to you soon.